Hello everyone! So have you got an idea for your novel but you're just not sure where you need to take it? Then I've got a solution for you. Well, more like a few tips, but yeah. I had a few folks, you know who you are, ask me about how to develop your budding outline. And I honestly can't believe it hasn't occurred to me to do this before. I've got a huge list of videos and somehow this wasn't one of them. So in my outlining video, I basically said, first step is the brainstorm or the word vomit. But what if you don't have very many ideas or you're just kind of stuck developing your story? So today I will be talking about the missing pieces to step 1 of my outlining video. In other words, I'm gonna go into more depth about brainstorming. All right, so the first topic is the initial word vomit. So say this wonderful idea pops into your mind and you jot down a few quick things and then that's it. Your engine sputters and you don't know where else to go. This initial phase doesn't have to be too in-depth though. So it's okay if you only have a handful of bullet points because you're gonna have plenty of time to develop it later on. Likely it's something you're gonna be doing for a couple months or maybe even a couple years. But my tip is to not get discouraged in this initial phase. There are so many of us out there that have an idea for a novel and we never do anything about it. We all get stuck thinking our story is silly or it's just not good enough. Don't fall into that trap. Every novel out there started out as a simple plot line and then eventually grew into a beauty of a world. Hello, Lord of the Rings. In other words, a seed won't grow into a flower unless you water it. Your novel idea is worthy of your time if it's something that makes you happy. And I'm convinced that any story can be made into a great one. Well, how do you go about making it great? The next thing I wanted to talk about was analyzing the elements of a good story so that you can make your story a good story. Once you've got all your initial brainstorming down, think about all the different elements that go into a story. It's not just one plot point beat to death for 300 pages. There's diverse characters and action and drama and tension. There's subplots. There's mini plots. There's even a whole world. So this is the very next thing I think about when brainstorming, and some authors call this the what if phase. Say you have a romance novel. Well, what if your character's deadbeat dad all of a sudden shows up at the heightened tension of the book? What if the witches in your fantasy novel are rebelling against their supreme leader witch who your main character is loyal to? Don't be afraid to branch out and write down some things that might be crazy. Usually you'll end up throwing some of these ideas out, but others you'll keep and you'll end up loving. For those of you that don't know, I'm an engineer. One of the things that I learned in engineering school is that you don't hold back in the brainstorming phase. If you're on a team, everyone blurts out possibilities and then you just write them down. No one argues why one would be stupid or one would be really awesome. Each person brainstorms until the entire team is satisfied. Then you analyze each one. Now, why do you go through all of this? Because you need to get creative. Even if one of your ideas isn't right, maybe it could spark the correct idea in another one of your team members, or even in yourself. Someone could have a part of the correct answer, but if they're fearful of being judged, they might not ever even say it. So write down all of the ideas and see which ones you like. So a concern for us writers is making the challenges that your character faces seem genuine or realistic. You want them all to make sense to your entire plot line. You don't want random things happening just so that your character has problems. You can get around this by introducing the problem before it becomes a hurdle for your character. The deadbeat dad example that I talked about just a second ago, introduce that backstory early on in your novel and it's gonna seem like a genuine issue when it comes up. Don't just have him show up out of nowhere. Hint, you do the same as far as magic is concerned in fantasy novels. Don't suddenly make a character capable of blowing people's heads up when they get into a bind. Your readers will think it's a cop-out. The next topic or hint I have is to get inspired. Now, how I get my inspiration is from everyday things. So this part takes a long time for me because it's passively developing your novel. I do this all the time, no matter what stage of my writing I'm in. Force yourself to put your novel on the back burner in your mind, but think about it throughout the day and just go about your regular day. Then keep a lookout for material that you can reimagine into your novel. See a funny person that sparks a comedian in your novel? Then use it. While watching a movie, you might like the tension that a sibling rivalry brings to the table. Use it. Keep a lookout for things that pull at your heartstrings or make you angry or evoke any kind of emotion. Those are the things that you want your readers to feel, so those are the things that you need to recreate in your story. I have these aha moments maybe once a week, so it's not that often, but when you have them, they are big aha moments. I'm usually incoherent for a minute or two while I'm trying to scramble to get something to write with. Yes, this can be embarrassing when you're in a nice restaurant and suddenly you can't say anything intelligible. What if while you're scrambling to get your phone to write it down? That's okay. We're creative people and we have the right to be weird sometimes. So look out for those cool ideas that you can use for your novel, but do not steal ideas. Don't make your antagonist's name Voldemort and have him love snakes and love killing people. Using the general idea of something will keep you from getting too close to what you originally got your inspiration from. Like Harry Potter? Keep the magic, but ditch the particulars. Quidditch, muggles, etc. It's illegal to steal ideas, and none of your readers will like you for it. Trust me, they'll be the first ones to throw you under the plagiarism bus. My next tip is to develop the hell out of everything. Note, this kind of applies more towards fantasy or science fiction novels, but you get the idea. One of the reasons readers love books or movies like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and any superhero movie comes down to two major things: the characters and the world that they live in. Because that's what these novels are. They are worlds. They each have very intricate details that don't necessarily affect your storyline right away. Is it important that Thor comes from a shiny city? No, but it paints the fine details of your story. What about the fact that hobbits like to eat all day? Nope, it's just something that people will find unique and quirky, and they'll be interested in it. All of these things are normal and everyday for the character, so it makes it more believable for the reader. So explain these elements of your story. The Elysian Prophecy has an island where new recruits will go for training. Am I gonna leave it at that? Nope. I've gone into the foods that they eat, the futuristic technology that they have, where the kids go to hang out, their library system, their curriculum, what everything looks like, how their magic works. Not all of these things will be immediately important to your novel, but they could come up should you choose to do a series. So after all of that, my next bit is super mega ultra important and should never be skipped. Focus on your people. Sure, your plotline is important, but how your characters react to what happens in the novel is equally important. What if Malfoy was the one that survived Voldemort as a baby? Totally different story. It's the same plot point, so shouldn't the stories be the same? No. We're not stupid, because Malfoy is obviously nothing like Harry Potter. I'm all about pausing my brainstorming and development in lieu of character development. Once I get through the main chunky ideas of my plot, I'll actually switch over to take a look at my characters, basically to understand how they will affect and be affected by the storyline. Back to the deadbeat dad example. What if that character finds him on the jury for a case all about a father abusing his son? He would react understandably different from the woman to his right, who had an awesome childhood. I mean, I hope they would both see the wrong in that, but you get the idea. To get readers to connect to your novel, you need to get them to connect with your characters. Making them diverse and intricate emulates what we see in reality, and this allows the reader to believe in your protagonist. Yes, there are main character types that most novels have, like the best friend, the comedian, the mentor, and the British villain. Shout out to Deadpool. But their backstories are different, and hence their reactions are different. So don't just peg one of your characters as a villain and be done with it. Don't make him mean for no reason. When you give a reason for your character being so evil, the readers will believe it. What made them evil? What horrible event took away their compassion? Plus, I mean, who doesn't like developing their villain? It's kind of the coolest thing ever. Alright, so I hope this short little video of tips was really helpful for you guys. The brainstorming and developing stages can be the best part of actually writing your novel. It's just fun to play around with things. So let yourself be creative with it. Go crazy. A lot of times one specific idea will ring out ahead of all the others and then dictate where your novel goes from there. Let these ideas come, no matter how silly they may seem in the beginning. And remember, don't take the stage so seriously, because really, it's your world. What do you want to see in it? Alright, so make sure you subscribe to my channel if you already haven't. I post new writing videos every Wednesday, and if you ever have any questions or suggestions for my new videos, be sure to tweet me at Vivien Reis, or just write it down in the comments section below. That's kind of the easiest thing. Bye, guys. Alright, so be sure to subscribe.